Hey there, listener! Welcome back to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends, usually Erin and Melody, celebrate the beautiful world of romance novels with a heaping dose of friendship, feminism, and foolishness. We're kicking off our third year of this crazy ride with a guest host. Fan favorite Cole is back to read Alisha Rye's newest novel, The Right Swipe. And brace yourselves, Cole has gone full fanboy. Enjoy!
Fuck it. No numbers.
Okay.
Hey, Cole.
What's up, Mac?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. How are you doing?
Great.
This is a perfect start.
Do you have any banter as if we haven't been speaking already for, like an hour and 20 minutes?
I don't actually, I did have banter. I always have banter, but...
you did? Okay.
Well, I mean,
just
general banter, but like, I don't
know what...
banter? What are the rules?
Like friends do.
I don't want to break the banter rules.
Oh, well, what I did, I did something where I said, let's fucking cut it. No more banter. Let's just get right to the book. That's what the people want. And the people did not like it. In fact, I don't know that they even like that we do the books anymore. They're just like,
I'm one of the people who loves the banter. Like, the banter that's the icing on the cake.
I think there was one woman who does not like the banter, and she left us a bad review, and then we've been paranoid about it ever since. She was like, you said you were here for books, and instead you're talking about your dogs and shit. So we were like, oh, okay, all right, never again.
I love it. I love that it took one to scare you away.
What banter did you prepare and not bring up in the last hour and a half?
Oh, no, I didn't prepare anything.
You said you had banter, so I thought you maybe, came with something.
We could just continue the conversation that we were having.
Cool. I mean, this is so awkward now. It's so awkward. Here's what I want to banter about.
Okay, what's up?
Alisha Rye.
Yes.
Guys.
Yes.
He's making sort of like a touchdown motion with
I'm very
his arms.
on brand with this book.
Yes. So what did we read? We read the Katie Robert book, and then Cole got into romance a little bit. At least romance Twitter.
That's what it is. Like, I wish I could say that I've now read 10 or 12 books, but I've obviously listened to all of you guys' episodes. But I started following some authors and people you told me were cool, people you met at the convention, on the convention circuit and everything.
The convention
and
circuit.
Holy shit, is Alisha Rye a phenomenal Twitter follow.
So Cole has developed what I think we can healthily call crushes. Can we say?
Yes, a professional appreciation.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's nothing scary or creepy. I don't want to...
No. I can vouch for Cole as not being a scary or creepy man.
Yes, thank you.
But
I'm glad that had to be said, straightened out. Awesome.
Well, yeah. It has developed a crush on Alisha Rye.
I do.
And also Alyssa Cole.
Yes. Well, they're both hilarious. And they're just it's not all... I'm a sucker for a good Twitter follow. That's the way it goes. I sit in court a lot, practicing law, sans, the law. And I'm just flipping through Twitter, and they're fantastic. It's not just about their books, or it's not just about promotion. It's some funny shit. And if you're not following them, you absolutely should be. We'll skip. We'll just do an early lady love. Follow Alisha Rye and Alyssa Cole on Twitter, which I'm sure everybody is doing anyway.
You should be if you're not. No, so when I said, let's do another book, and we were trying to talk about, what kind of book to do, if we could find a golf book, womp womp, or something like that.
I never said find a golf book.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Right.
And then I was like, how about The Right Swipe is going to be coming out? Why don't we do The Right Swipe? And you were like, if you didn't think I already had that on pre-order, you're fucking kidding yourself. And I was like, what?
I think I hit you back with August 6th.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You knew the date it came out, which was, wow. And how many times have you now read this book?
I've listened to it twice, but I do have an August 6th receipt that I'm waving in front of you.
He's holding it up, and it is an August 6th receipt.
Yeah, I bought it the day it came out, but unfortunately, I'm, again, in my car all the time, and I've listened to it twice. The audio is really good. This is a really good audiobook. Yeah, excellent.
I say a lot of HBs listen to audiobooks for the same reason that they're in their cars a lot. So that's good to know that the audiobook is good.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when I said earlier this week I needed to postpone recording because I wasn't all the way done with it, I believe you said this is a book to be savored, not rushed through.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Well, you were like, I could do it today, but I could power through it in like the next hour and a half. And I did not want you to do that. I want you to experience this book. Just wrap it around you like a blanket.
Fair to say that you enjoyed the book?
I did enjoy the book very much. I will, like, there's a lot of this book that feels like it was written specifically for me. Now, I know that Miss Rye does not know me
you think
at all.
I wrote this book for you, Cole.
But if I was... Shut up. If I was to make a checklist of, like, shit I would want to see in a romance novel, like, this has 97% of them. This is just a lot of. I'm pumped. I'm very excited.
All right. Okay. So, all right. Let's just start.
Okay. Hold on. Real quick.
What?
I gotta.
Whoa. Cole just paused the podcast.
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh my gosh! To take off his shirt, and he has made. Let me get my phone to take a picture of this. He has made
That's right.
a t-shirt that says hashtag Team Ree.
Yeah.
As in Rhiannon, the heroine of this book. You're going to have to sit up a little bit so I can see the print.
Sorry.
And then I will take a photograph. Wow. You don't want your face in this?
Well, my it's not that big. I don't have that capability.
All right. Wow. So is this something that you've made specifically for this audio medium?
This is a very crudely made, spray painted and stenciled
My God.
Team Ree shirt. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I was excited for this book. And I wanted some gear. And
excited
you know,
this book. I wanted some gear.
And so,
my God,
it's got sports elements, and typically you got jerseys or whatever. But apparently in the romance game, they don't have book gear yet. So I took care of
it. We do have a lot of book gear. I can order you a trollop hat. Okay, all right. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Rhiannon Hunter worshipped at the altar of no man. I just thought we'd read it verbatim.
Yeah, no, I was just getting ready to say, I've heard it twice. I know that's the first line.
All right, so Rhiannon, our heroine, she is the creator, CEO, owner of an app, a dating app called Crush. And she is at a convention called Create that's for dating apps? Is that right?
I think it was
dating
like a tech... I feel like it was a tech conference,
yes.
But that apparently, like, it would be weird to me if it wasn't dating specific, since you had Matchmaker there, you had Swipe there, you had Crush there, obviously the big players.
Right,
I think we all know that.
Right.
So I feel like it was probably tech, but dating related.
Right. So her dating app is like a feminist, like a Bumble style, like women make more calls sort of dating app. Swipe is the Tinder style, more Tindery dating app, and Matchmaker is your Harmony.com.
So that was going to be my question, because I've never, I met Jess before the dating app, sort of any of that stuff. I think I'd never heard of Tinder or any of that stuff.
Well, no, Tinder wasn't out there, but surely like Match.com and eHarmony and all those were.
Right, but like I always thought those were for like older.
Fair.
But so I kind of learned a lot in this book, like a lot of the definitions and like how the apps worked. So I was bringing this up to Jess and Jasmine, and like Bumble, I don't know what that is. Like
I don't.
Can you
I don't
explain
want to
that to me?
explain it and be wrong, but I know
Okay.
that like the women call the shots more. Like I think. Oh God, I don't want to be wrong, but I think they like can't message you. Like men can't message you until you like approve that they can't. Like the
Okay.
woman picks the man and then is like, okay, now you can send me all the like stuff you were gonna send me instead of like Match, which I was on. Is how I met David. I put up a profile, walked away from my computer for like 4 hours, and came back to like 300 messages because it was Alaska, and all, like I would say 100 of them
Because
said,
it was
hey.
Alaska.
Well, I feel like I was the only like. There's a ratio up here that's not great for men. Like 100 of the messages were like, "Hey," which is like, what do you say to "hey"? And then like a lot of them were like, here are the specific disgusting things that I would like to do to you. And then there were like 4 that were like, normal. Hi, my name is, I saw your profile, specific thing from it. Like, let's chat, normal. 3, maybe.
That is like the most intimidating thing in the world to me. Like I would be
very intimidating.
brutal at that.
I turned it over to my coworkers. I'm like, find me like 4 guys out of here that are normal. And they did.
I feel like that would be like my opening line. Hello, my name is Cole.
Yeah.
I noticed that you said X. Cool. Like, there's no...
And that would whittle you down from hundreds of men to like 10. Because most of them are like, sup, girl.
Yeah.
I'm not going to respond to sup, girl. Like, I don't know you. Anyway. So she's more of like the bumbly one. And she's at this thing and she's there to try to find the elusive owner of
Matchmaker.
Yeah,
Annabelle, because
her sister had been the brains of the operation, kind of had run the like company side of it, and she recently died. So the thought is that the sister that is like less businessy might now want to sell Matchmaker
because she's afraid somebody else is just going to swoop in and take care of business. So
this is like a Matchmaker party. So she's like bopping around trying to find the elusive Annabelle, and no one knows what she looks like. So, good luck,
right?
Rhiannon. And then a sexy football man.
Yes. Yep.
Your shirt is just cracking me up. A sexy football man.
I'm sorry. Here. So it doesn't keep just flying into the picture. There you go. Now you can just see it the whole time.
Oh, good. So now I can always see it. He comes up on the stage and he is the new spokesman for Matchmaker.
Yes.
Sexy football player guy. And Rhiannon had a hookup with sexy football, I don't know, like 3 months ago, 6 months ago or something. And then he ghosted her.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's something else I had to learn about. I didn't know what that meant.
You don't know what ghosting is?
No, I just thought when it finally got explained, I'm like, that's called being a dick. I don't know. Like that. I didn't have the terms.
I posit you do know what ghosting is. You just didn't know what it was called.
That's what I'm saying. When they explained it, I was like, oh, I know.
I've known you too long, my friend.
You can't dime me out like that. I actually did think, though, when I figured out what it was, I was like, man, have I ever done that? Like,
have I ghosted?
Damn, I don't know.
No, I don't think you have. I'm just kidding. So I think he starts giving a speech and sees her in the audience, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, I am the new spokesman of... and then like sees her and is like, and she's like pissed. She's like there with her arms crossed because she's like, this is that fucker who ghosted me.
Well, and what I love about what Alisha Rye did, which you're going to hear me just say a lot, is
me too.
I dug that she had relive the trip up to Cayucas, which is a spectacular area, by the way. But she did this whole thing because she's trying to find Annabelle. Doesn't know what she looks like, but knows where she has this mansion in Cayucas. So, like, she went up there to go, like, run into her.
Stalk,
yes.
Yeah.
That's a better word. And so that's where this, like, hookup, she was like, I'm going to use Swipe, find a guy, have a fun night, which I also love how that was not in any way portrayed negatively, because there's no slut-shaming in this book, and I love that.
Not at all.
Although, I'm going to have to, when we get to Samson, I got some thoughts. I got some thoughts on Mr. Lima.
Some negative thoughts?
Not negative.
About Samson?
Not negative, but not... He's a bit of a liar, but that's okay. We'll get there. It's all good.
Wow.
But I
feel like I have some negative thoughts about Ree. So anyway,
you're wrong already. There's no way.
I wish I had the forethought to make a Team Samson shirt for this audio recording of this podcast.
I made this for me.
Yeah, so you could just wear it like around.
You can't keep taking more pictures of it.
Well, this one had your face in it. Okay.
Would you think they didn't think it was going to be me?
Well, it was weird because it was just like your chin. I don't know.
But what I liked is she like relived the sex they had. So they're like describing a sex scene, but not like making up some random reason for a couple people to hook up just to have a sex scene. I thought that was awesome.
And it's early in the book, which is nice. So you get some little like snacks earlier in the book.
Yes.
And it's kind of like you find out about this whole night that they had kind of in snippets slowly over the first few chapters because things keep reminding each of them about different things that happened during the sex night that were like incredible or made them like each other. It's great. Like they at one point they like shake hands and then she's like, that hand and those fingers did this and that to me. And it's like, whoa, I just thought I was reading about a handshake and like got a little nugget there. That was nice.
The way that sex is woven throughout the book is really, really good, particularly since we only get sex between these two characters, which in any other book I'd have been like, what? Come on. I need a little bit more like random people in the corner of a bar having sex. Like, what? It's just a little something. Just
what are your romance novels? What?
Well, the only other one I read had some weird like restroom sex from two characters I didn't know anything about.
That is the case. Yeah, but that was book 2. She was just setting it up for book 2.
So well,
listen, you just didn't understand the magic of the O'Malleys, and that's fine.
But we had some opportunities with like later on with Lakshmi and Tina and stuff, which I'm very excited about that potential.
Well, this is going to be a series, so I think they'll probably get a book as well as I'm sure all these football friends are.
Well,
too.
and Katrina's got to get one too. I know.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Katrina's got a very mysterious.
Both of them, all three of those. Yes.
Mystery past. And I can't wait.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, here we are. So Samson's giving this speech and he sees her. And then like as soon as he gets done with the speech, he like chases her out of the hotel and like she runs and then like he's like calling her name. Claire, not her name.
That's why Rhea like brilliant move. Just genius. Love it.
What, giving a fake name?
Well, she wanted to go incognito, and she's an important person, and she gave a fake name. I think that's intelligent.
You love her so much that you're just like, genius, making up another name. Okay, so then after that, Samson goes up to this like little lady who's wearing like a black veil, and like she's weird, and that's his aunt.
Yes,
who is Annabelle, who is the owner of Matchmaker. You guys, what a conflict. Because he is the spokesman of the thing, and the lady is his aunt, and Rhiannon wants to buy it.
Well, and what I got excited about when I read that was like, oh, hopefully then this like misunderstanding isn't going to be the entire conflict in the book.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, they resolve it pretty quickly. So what we learn is, like, during the crazy sex night, he was like, once again, I must see you. And she was like, oh, this is supposed to be, like, one night, but I guess we could do one more night.
She doesn't do that. Rhee's like, no, I don't see a guy twice. Like, that's it.
And she, like, reluctantly agrees to that. And then he ghosts her hard. And so she blocks him, blocks his number, closes the app, all those things. And she never gave him her phone number, which is smart.
Or real name. That is smart.
Not to give.
She doesn't need him.
Right.
That's the moral of this book, by the way.
Hashtag Team Rhee. So then we go to Samson's perspective.
I did like the flipping perspectives. Like that worked. Yes. That worked for me. It was good.
And it worked really well in this book, specifically. But he's just like, oh my God, the chances of I see this girl that I had that night with again are like so crazy. This is nuts, when he doesn't know that she's like the CEO of the other, whatever company. So we get a little bit of background about Samson. So what happened with him is that like he fell in love with her pretty much that night. Gosh, she was great. And then like wanted another night with her. And then like in between, like that day, his Uncle Joe, who he lived with and he was the caretaker for, and he had Alzheimer's and like was the most important person in his life and was Aunt Belle's boyfriend of 40 years, like had a health decline and like died 2 days later. And he just like completely forgot about the whole thing. And by the time he remembered and tried to like go on the app and be like, I'm sorry, Claire, I like my uncle got sick and I had to go to the hospital, she had already blocked him. What? And there was no way for him to find her.
I love that he was like, I Googled Claire plus LA and I couldn't find her. I just, there was nothing I could do.
Well, listen, our man Samson is many things. Mm-hmm. I don't know that like genius is one of them.
No, he says a lot of things where it feels like he's almost going to be like a really smart guy. And then you're like, just a little short of that. Just a little. Yeah,
I don't need him to be smart. And I don't think Rhiannon needs him to be smart either. No. Like she's got that covered. She needs a guy who is patient and hugs. And
she likes the Cuds.
I think those are her requirements.
Yeah, she's a big fan of the Cuds, and I get that. I love that as well. But I think with Samson, there's some things that didn't make sense to me, and I don't know how much I was supposed to pay attention to him. But he's like, "Yeah, I've been retired 10 years." Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, you're 36, so you retired at 26. Right. You can't turn pro until you're like 22 because you got to be 3 years out of high school. So he was in the NFL for like 3-4 years tops, probably still on his rookie deal. This guy's not really that wealthy. Like, this guy is not super rich. But
I don't think this book ever says he is that wealthy.
No, it doesn't. I just think he makes a couple he makes a couple statements where he's like, yeah, I saved my money. I took care of my money. Uncle Joe wouldn't let me use anything on his, on his healthcare. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I kind of appreciated that because it wasn't this concept of, it's just multimillionaires, kind of getting together. It was like, he's never angling for her in that way, but he's not somebody who's, super set, not a Christian Grey situation. Am I getting that name right?
Yes.
How about that?
You are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, if I'm reading a book about a sports person who like is super rich, and must be super rich because they're like the lead person on their sports team, and they do such extravagant things as puzzles and minion costumes, that will upset me because I just feel like there are more cooler things I can be doing than reading about slowly putting together a puzzle and watching Dragon Ball Z. But Samson's not rich, so that's okay. If Samson wanted to put a puzzle together, I think I would find it.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at Dragon Ball Z.
That they did that in that book. They watched Dragon Ball Z. That was a chapter.
No.
Yes, in Wall of Winnipeg, they watched. I think it was Dragon Ball Z. If it's not, it was like another anime sort of thing. I hope that's actually anime, and I'm not getting the words wrong. They watched a cartoon. That was a chapter.
Wow. Jeez. Well, we don't have that problem in this book.
No, we don't have that problem. We don't have that problem.
I did wonder, because it felt like there was a ton of research put into this book, because I wonder if this was based on... There was this player, Josh Perry, who retired after like 2 years of being in the NFL.
Oh.
And he was a linebacker.
Well, yeah, tell me more. Yeah.
But he was a linebacker.
You're bringing a whole thing to the podcast right now. Look at you.
I try. I get this opportunity once a year. I'm taking advantage.
Yeah.
But
you're doing it. What else you got?
But he retired over concerns of concussions, which we haven't talked about, but that's the whole reason Samson retired early was concussion protocol, and he saw his dad and his uncle deteriorate from CTE. And so I sort of started thinking like, oh, I don't know if she took, this guy's life as sort of inspiration for Mr. Lima and the Lima charm and the Lima curse and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Maybe. So, I don't know. Cool.
I was getting ready to say I looked up an interview with her, and she said it wasn't based on any one particular person, but sort of an amalgam of a bunch of different people. So
you did like research and stuff.
Yes, of course. And arts and crafts. All right, I'm full service.
And arts and crafts. Melody, I think Cole is making a play.
No, I want to be very clear. I want to be very, very clear.
So scared. He's terrified.
No, I've never been more nervous to meet like a human person than meeting Melody at your wedding. Like I was so nervous and scared. I didn't know. It was there was a lot of pressure.
Were you? So the fear wasn't just like social anxiety. Like you were actually afraid that she was going to harm you?
Not necessarily harm me, but I think she's just on a different level than me. Like she's smarter than me. She's quicker than me. She got drinks named after her. There's just a whole bunch of shit going on. And I didn't think I was going to be able to hang. So I was there was a lot of pressure to meet her. And it went very well. It went well. I got out unscathed. She's fantastic. She is as advertised. And thank you again, Melody, for letting me sit in for you, by the way, if you're listening.
And now you guys are friends, independent of me. And that doesn't upset me or freak me out at all.
Sometimes texts get sent to other people.
The other night when Melody and I were talking about how hot Jude Law is at like 10 p.m. Alaska time, well, it was late.
It was late.
And Melody sent me a text, sent me a text and said, "Oh no, I also sent that to Cole."
Yep.
It upset me to my core, and I made many texts that said things like, "What? Why text Cole? Texting Cole? Texting Cole, my friend Cole? Why text Cole without Erin?" And then I realized we're all adults, and everyone can be friends with whoever they want to be friends with, and it doesn't bother me at all.
And I woke up to a text, because it was late. It was a late text conversation. And I woke up to a text about Jude Law being hot. And oh shit, that wasn't for you, Cole. And then a text from you that was like, I think Melody texted you something about Jude Law. And it was all.
And then, but that, what that text from me was a bait text for you to text me back and explain why the two of you are texting without me. And then you didn't respond to it. And I was like, oh my God, they're friends without me. And everybody's hanging out and having cool fun. And I'm not. Anyway, chapter 3, they have
This got off the rails quick.
They have an interview with... like an on-stage interview with a lady named, I think, Helena, who has like a late-night talk show, like maybe like a Samantha Bee sort or something.
Right.
Where they're both on stage and they're talking about like modern dating, and it's like matchmaker, the old school eHarmony thing versus, and actually it was supposed to be Annabelle. It was supposed to be Aunt Belle that was up there with Rhiannon. And at the last minute, Aunt Belle like flew to Australia because she had social anxiety and she couldn't do it. So she asked Samson to do it instead.
And she flew to the closest place she could get to.
Yeah, Australia. And like, you guys, it was a ruse because she is a matchmaker and she saw it in his eyes when he chased her out of that ballroom in that hotel. So now she's got to be on the stage and talk about modern dating with Samson.
And it's great.
See. And they talk about, they have a lot of chemistry. They're like volleying back and forth. It's great. But also we're getting like flashbacks to the sex, which is awesome.
It's
like interspliced with their
really
kind of
good.
catty banter. Yeah. And it ends with Rhiannon explaining what ghosting is.
See, even he didn't know.
But yeah, he doesn't know because he's like
a liar.
I don't think he's in the loop. Like, I don't think he knows anything about anything.
No, see, this is the point. Okay, I'm glad you said that because he's a professional football player who says that he hadn't like been with anybody in like 5 years. Is this the part where? Or no, is that later, in a later flashback?
I think later he says that he hasn't been with anybody in like 5 years, yeah.
Which is a total fucking lie. Are you kidding me?
What?
Samson Lima, chiseled
sorry.
out of limestone.
We did another podcast where you told me that a super hot president of the United States was believable that he never like had some discreet sex on the side. And now you're telling me that a football player who lives with his uncle who has Alzheimer's, who is maligned by like the world for walking off the field and becoming the curse of the Buffalo Bisons or whatever.
The Buffalo Bisons.
Sure, yeah. What's it called? What is it?
The Portland Brewers, but it's okay.
I thought it was the Bisons. Was it not the Bison? Wasn't there Bison involved somewhere?
I don't know.
I swear to God there was a Bison.
But he played for the
roaming around this book,
Portland Brewers.
Hoofing it.
But there's a difference.
To,
Shepard was married, kid, press, security concerns. This is...
Cole is so scared to be like, you're fucking wrong. There's no Bisons in here. Anyway, all right, sorry, Shepard.
Samson, on the other hand, is 31 years old, retired.
Yes.
And you're telling me hasn't been with anybody in 5 years. And there's a flashback. I don't know.
Talk about it is psychological issues.
I don't know if it's now or later, but he's like, when they first hooked up, he's like going down on her, and he's like, "You taste so good." And I'm like, he hasn't been with anybody in 5 years, and he's got the game to say that? Really?
It's just facts.
Like, no. Like, I don't buy it at all.
It's not game for you to just be like, yum, yum. Like, that's not game.
Actually, like, if you could pull off yum, yum, that would be
yum,
game.
Yum.
That would be like you are dropping 12 strong if you can pull off yum, yum and don't get kicked out of bed.
I just don't think you need to be like taking pickup artist classes from Mystery to like be like, I am enjoying myself.
I don't know. It's just, it feels like to me he would have been a little bit more nervous in his first sexual experience in 5 years than to be like, oh, I got this on lock. Don't worry about it. I'm good at.
She brings that out in him.
I don't doubt it. She sounds awesome.
Okay. I don't know. They talk about his trust problems. He hasn't like made a friend in 5 years either.
But he can bang with the best of them. And good for him. Like, he's a natural.
All right. Okay, so we're still talking about ghosting on stage. And she, like, explains it to a T and, like, how much ghosting is cowardly and, like, hurts you to your core. And she's, like, very clearly talking about him. And then time's up and she, like, walks away. Right? They don't talk after this, do they?
I feel like they talk a little bit, but she basically explains on stage, like, if you ghost me...
Never.
No second chances. Yeah. I will never, ever talk to you again.
Right. And Samson's like, if somebody ghosted me, I might give them a second chance. Oh, and he also is like, but what if they had like a really horrible family emergency, hypothetically? Like, what if their uncle died that day?
What if there's like a super great reason and they're phenomenal in bed?
Mm-hmm.
If there's that.
Yeah, and she's like, basically, unless you're dead, you have no excuse to ghost me. And he's like, point taken, understood. And he's kind of pretty sad about that. Oh, she says a family emergency of a sufficient degree might warrant a talk. That's it.
Which I love it. That's like how she talks. Like, she's a little socially awkward, which I totally dig.
Uh-huh.
Like, boardroom, business, she's totally on it. Socially, it seems like she's got some... I don't know what the issue is. It's probably that she wants to be like a one-night stand or like, I just want to see you once and be done with it, as opposed to getting close to somebody that seems to make her uncomfortable.
Right. So then
and that's fine.
You're okay with that?
That's fine.
You're okay? Ree. Yeah? You're as patient as Samson. You could deal with her trust issues. You could teach her to trust.
Hey, I'm 36 and don't know what ghosting is. So Samson and I also have a lot in common.
Fair. So she goes home. We get like a nice scene with her friend Katrina. And what we learn is, so at one point, Rhiannon had worked for Skype and, or Skype.
Or Swipe.
At one point, Rhiannon had worked for Swipe and she was like a marketing person there. And then the person who was the head of Swipe became her boyfriend. And then when she broke up with him, he, like, forced her out of the company and, like, spread rumors and, like, threatened to release nudes or, like, did release nudes. And she was able to...
it comes out later that he like, had some videos and some pictures and was, like, threatening to possibly put those out there. He is referred to throughout the book as the chief executive asshole. And you don't find out until the end that his name is Peter.
Peter. And you don't really find out the whole story. She kind of gives the story in bits and pieces, but this is what happened. And so then when she left Swipe, she wanted to start her own app, and she met this like super rich heiress named Katrina who like never leaves her house and has a mysterious face scar.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird elements to Katrina that is going to make a phenomenal book, Alisha, which I will read the day it comes out.
But she deserves love and is going to get it, I'm sure. And Katrina gave her the money to start Crush, and that's where Crush comes from. So fortunately, even though she was blacklisted from the whole industry, she didn't need anybody, and she started her own.
Yeah, and I don't feel like we really know how they met. I don't really recall that.
Her and Katrina? I want to say it was like a chance meeting of some kind. It is explained, but it's like basically we met by chance, like at a bar or something like that, I think.
Right, because they're like best friends, they live together, all that stuff, so it's not like they're childhood friends or anything.
Oh, and that's the other thing, is Katrina lives in like this crazy mansion, and it was like, move it. Like, could I find a friend like this who's just like a billionaire who's like, what are your dreams? I will fund them. Also, move into my huge mansion with me.
Please. And by the way, that mansion is in Santa Barbara, the nicest place on earth.
So these mansions are nice. Have you been in one?
I've not been in one. I've driven by many of them. Santa Barbara is spectacular.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's where
Katrina's doing fine.
Katrina live. Yeah, she's doing great. Except that she's like trying to like get out of the house and she can't because she's got like an agoraphobia issue. So she's like, I went to a restaurant today. Like, what is going on with Katrina? It's a big mystery. I can't wait.
There are so many seeds planted that she takes no time to explain.
All over. Okay, so, and we get a little bit of background about Rhiannon and her mom cleaned houses for like a rich person, and that rich person like funded her and her brother's school. And yeah, her mom is like needy and stuff. You might be wondering why there's so much about Rhiannon's family for no fucking reason in this book, and that's because it's a shoot off from another book in another series.
Right.
So the third book in the grocery store series featured Gabe and his wife, so that's why we like get so much of Gabe and mom in this thing.
Gotcha. I was wondering where Gabe came from, because at the beginning I was like, oh, he's going to be in like one of the future books, but then when it turns out he was married,
yeah,
I know that there are married romance novels, but I don't think that's a huge
so
market.
That's why we have to spend like a chapter at the end going back home and like checking out their engagement party and stuff. It's for people who are fans of that series.
Gotcha. That makes sense, because I was going to say one of the things that I didn't understand about the book is how we kept going back to all of that.
Right. Yeah. I assumed you would not understand it. But, okay, so during this conversation with Katrina, we find out that she had told Katrina about Samson, the beach bastard that she had sex with. And Katrina kind of like convinces her to give him another shot, and they're talking about it. And then Rhiannon says to Katrina that he is Samson Lima, the football. And Katrina knows about the football.
Yeah, she was all over that. She was like, oh, his uncle died like September 22nd. And
oh my God, your date was on September 21st. And then they do...
Right.
They do sleuth thing, and then they find out, oh my God, he actually did have a family emergency. Ugh.
I mean, I know in the book that they say that they do it all on the phones, but I just imagine Katrina to be like, you know, Iron Man rich. So I expect her to be like throwing shit up in like the fake wall and being like, oh, here is where he died, and then back here. So that's in my head. That's what happened.
She's got like a bat cave, but only for like when she wants to Google something, like a very simple Google, and she like throws all the holograms around. Oh God, yeah. Hey, if you haven't written that book yet, maybe throw some holograms in Katrina's life. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think Alisha Rice is listening to this, but if she was, she should put some holograms in that book. Okay.
You guys are buddies. She could be.
But being buddies does not listen. Being somebody who can listen to two people talk about like something you poured your blood and heart and sweat in for like a year, and like sometimes be like, this part was dumb, is a whole different level of coolness.
Yeah. I can't listen to somebody dislike a movie I saw. So, yeah, I don't...
Yeah, I couldn't... Even if, like, the two people super loved everything about the book, like this one, if they even said something that was like, I didn't understand this part, I'd be like, fuck you. So, like...
You didn't understand it because you're stupid.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's probably right, honestly.
Probably right. Okay. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so then what she does... What? Are you laughing at me because I sang like the seagull from The Little Mermaid?
I am.
Okay, so what she does is she calls Lakshmi, her assistant, and she says, listen, because he gave Lakshmi his number on a card at the end of the talk show thing to maybe she wants to call him. So she's like, find out. I don't want to call him. Find out where he's going to be and when, which is like,
this is part of that social awkwardness that I don't quite understand.
I kind of loved it as a move, though.
I did too. I love that she's like, no, I don't talk to people. I go to people. I find them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love that.
Yes.
You're awesome.
So he's doing this promotion where he like dates people using the Matchmaker app and like does viral videos of it, I guess.
Yeah, they were going to do like part of the whole new launch because Matchmaker feels like they're getting left in the dust is like, hey, I'm actually on the app. And if we match, we can have a date. It'll be filmed if you're cool with that. If not. And this is part of what made Samson sound like a cool guy because he was like, even if you're not cool with us filming it, we can still like go have dinner. Like we can still go on a date. That's fine. So
yeah,
that's their whole deal. And he wants to make these videos. And I think this is where she goes to find him. They're getting ready to film the first one.
Right. So he's there with like some she's not there yet, but he's going to meet some like redhead actress that he met because he asked for the dates to be like not people he was actually matched with, but for people that like wouldn't really like get attached or care because he doesn't actually want to meet somebody using this thing. And like, he's not really in the market because he loves Ree/Claire because of that one beautiful night they had together.
The night of 5 times.
Yes, the night of 5 times. So she like confronts him and the other thing is she's telling herself she's meeting him as an in for Annabelle to buy the Matchmaker.
Right.
Because she's like,
I love that her
emotions.
rationalization is always the business.
It's the best.
Love it.
So she talks to him. They get closure. It's kind of nice. They like kind of touch their hands together, which is really cute. Like their hands are both on the bench and like one hand like scoots closer to the other hand and they kind of like touch pinkies a little bit. Very cute. And then she's like, I have a business proposition for you. I want to buy Matchmaker.
What I loved about it was that she kept like it's always business, it's always business, it's always business. But she never has that like, oh, you explained it, so now we're all good.
Right.
He explains it, and she's like, well, okay, I'll give you a little bit of a chance. Like, it's not like all better.
Right. No. It's just like, okay, understood. Not forgiven, but like I can compute, and now we can move on. So they come up with this idea, this kind of marketing idea. Oh, no, it's after that, because then he goes and has his date.
Yeah, okay. The date goes, because he's thinking about her,
right.
And they go on, he has the date with the actress, and the reason he picks out the actresses is he doesn't want to play with anybody's heart, and he doesn't want to be a jerk, so he's like, let's pick some people who don't mind some exposure.
Right.
They go through this date, and we don't see the date. Again, I love it. We don't need to see that date.
We don't want to see it.
All we hear about is afterwards, it is a shit show.
Yes.
He's spilling stuff. He's asking her if she's banging her cousin or something.
He asked her if her hair was real.
After her hair was real, like all sorts of weird.
He wanted to know if her hair was real or extensions because he wanted to compliment it. It's like, nah, just go ahead and just fast forward to that compliment, you know?
Well, and what I love was, like, we skipped over a little bit. We do meet his friends, I think Dean and Harris,
I'm sorry.
who he played with.
Alisha, I'm sorry, but I don't give a fuck. Like, I was like, herbs. I don't care. I will meet you in the next book, friends.
But they were the ones that kind of got in his head as well about, like, are you sure you like good at dating? It's been forever. So he's also lying to his friends that he's not been dating.
Right.
And he's like, no, I got it. It's all good. Like, I'm sure it's fine. And obviously it's not. So he kind of cooks up this idea, which is both a very smart business idea and gets him way closer to Ree. And he's like, let's sort of reverse hitch this.
Right.
And you can teach me how to date. Like, wouldn't that be cool? And we can do a joint venture. It'll help Matchmaker, who are people who want to look for love. It'll help you guys who just may want to look for right now.
And she's very direct with him that night where she's like, I would like to buy Matchmaker. So I would like you to get me an in with your aunt. Like, at least ask her if she will take a meeting with me. And he's like, sure, but she's hiding in Australia, so I will let you know as soon as she gets back, and I will ask her if she will have a meeting with you. All right, so then they go out and film one of these videos where she's like teaching him how to date and like teaching him the lingo, right? Is that next?
What it's what they do first is they meet to sort of discuss it, but she's very
yes.
and we don't know why yet, but she's like, I'm owning the video. I will be taking the video. We will edit it and we will show you what it's going to be, but I will always have possession of it. And you sort of like, maybe it's a business move, but it feels a little over the top with respect to like owning the actual product.
Right. Yeah. She's like that in like kind of all avenues of her life. She's just very like, I am in charge. I am in the driver's seat all the time. Like she never wants to have to rely on anyone or trust anyone. Like she is like a completely autonomous being. She is in control of all the things. But also, when do they have the discussion about where he's like, hey, if you would like to have sex, I would enjoy it. I don't remember if that's the first conversation or the second one.
No, it's the second one, I think, where they meet at like the bar and he goes, hey, I'm going to be at this bar at 8:00.
Oh, right. And they
like,
do film the first one there, but...
Well, yeah, and she does like the first filming that they do the little conversation, and then she's like, okay, I just wanted to see how you were going to be on camera. I wanted to see if that first one was just like a hiccup or if you really suck at being on film.
Right.
And so they meet at the bar, and I love it when he was like, look, I'm going to be there at 8 no matter what, because she was like, maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't. I'll be a swing by, because he was hanging again with Dean and Harris. And
yes,
so
Dean and Harris, his friends, who I read all about. Sorry. But also when she shows up like she's like on her way to something else, which is also kind of like like she's like, I have to be at this other thing in like 20 minutes so she can be in control. But
she was lying about that. Yeah.
No, she went to the thing, whatever the thing was, I'm sure.
But I was so excited. I got so pumped when they started sort of like vibing a little bit at the bar. And then they go to the cabana with a waterbed. And I was like...
No. That is not this time.
Is this not this one?
No.
That's not this one?
No. So at the bar, I think he says first, if you would like to have sex, please know that I would like to have sex with you. I am open to that, if you are open to that. And she's like, yes, you're so hot, but we are not going to... And I understand that you ghosted, like, my guard is up, but I will have sex with you because that is a no-brainer.
Yeah, my sex guard is fine. Yes. My love guard still up. So he walks her to her car because arguably, I believe that this kiss at the car is the hottest part of the book. Oh, the cars are the hottest part of the book.
Both cars?
There's two cars.
Yes.
No, not...
Jesus, no. Cars.
Come on.
Like, I don't know what kind of car it even was. Cole.
Yes. The Tesla and like the Jeep Cherokee were the hottest parts of this book.
You know, I have a Jeep Cherokee, so watch it. He pins her up. Watch it. Check it. He pins her up against this car. He's the one with the SUV. Yeah. Because he had to drive around Uncle Joe in his wheelchair. It is like such a hot kiss.
It's my God.
Supposed to be just a peck, and then it's like so much more, and they have to stop because there's like, a shooting or something? Like, I don't know why they stopped. There was like police sirens or something like that. A car alarm.
I think somebody just may have come into the parking garage, but it could have been...
Sure. I think there was like a gang shooting of some kind.
But wasn't he maybe, he was taking her underwear off.
Kind of an emergency. No, well, she had like her legs up around him, or at least one of them. Like it was. Yeah, he took off her bra. He unhooked her bra.
Again, hasn't been with anybody in 5 years.
Oh yeah,
this is what he's playing. Like, give me a break.
He just like goes around her back and it's just like snap.
Yeah, he's like
snaps it right off.
Yeah. Okay, Sam. I believe you.
I choose to believe. #believe Samson. That's what I would like to do.
I'm #it doesn't matter.
Fair.
It works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care who Samson's been with. And that's the thing. I think he's telling the truth because I don't think Rhiannon, there's no one in this book that would give a shit if he was having anonymous sex or casual sex or relation. No one would give a shit. So why would he lie?
I think when he told her that, it was at a time when he would not have known that.
He would not have known what? Oh, that she, I don't know.
I mean, this is not a huge sticking point in the book, but I'm just saying.
It sounds like you hated this book, Cole, because of this one weird thing. Wow.
That is not true.
Alisha Rye.
Please don't make this like the snippet on the trailer.
What
Please
a soundbite. What a soundbite. You heard it here first. Cole Williams hates Alisha Rye. Okay. So they make out at the car. It's super hot. And then like, the next thing they do is have sex, right? Do we have to take like a detour into something else? No,
because she like goes away and he's, if this was in a movie, he would have had to have done I'll walk away in a minute thing. But she leaves and he goes. And I think at this point, they go back and talk. Does she go back and talk to Katrina?
Oh, I remember. She agreed to have sex with him. It was at her office. He came to her office. That was when she agreed to have sex with him. Because remember, it was because of his butt. And then they met at the bar.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the next thing is the pod. I think the next thing is the date with the pod on the rooftop. The pod date.
Yeah.
The waterbed
that makes sense.
Okay. So they meet up for this other date. They do a video of like him being clueless about dating and her teaching him dating tips about how to do things. And then they tape some other girls talking about what a fuckboy is. That's cute.
Right. Yeah, that was another thing where like, can I ask a question? What is the deal with dick pics? Holy shit.
What about them?
Like,
oh god, I really thought you were going to ask me what a fuckboy was, and it made my whole body go, ooh.
No, she explained it in the book. I did kind of need to know because I didn't know what that was. But when she explained it, I was like, oh, I knew that under a different name.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. It wasn't that I didn't know it after it was explained. I was like, it's the terminology that's getting me.
Yeah.
But the concept of dick pics has confused me my entire life.
All right, lay it on me.
I loved his reaction. Well, no, I loved his reaction when he was like, what? Like, that's a thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping that you don't have necessarily unwanted experience with this, but like, is that really as big a thing as it is portrayed in books and movies and things like that, where it's like,
okay, I need you to
happens
explain.
all the time?
Okay, does it happen all the time?
Yeah, that's my thing. Like,
all the time, constantly, always.
Fucking asinine to me.
Always, always, always. I thought you were going to be like, is it that big of a thing that, like, okay, they showed you their dick. It's like, yeah, because it's like you're just living your life, and then it happens.
I'm sorry, in 18 years of our friendship, do you think that I would be like, it's just a picture of a dick? Like, why are you guys freaking out?
It was
That is not,
weird.
That's not my take. I just want to be clear, that is not my take.
But I was willing to be like, yes, it is.
No, it is clearly like a ridiculous
if you're a woman and you've
assault.
never accidentally had your airdrop on, and you've never been airdropped a penis, I don't know. Or like in the dating apps or in like, it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. You are our dicks. Always.
Like that is incomprehensible to me, while at the same time I completely believe that it's happening.
Yes.
I just could never imagine being in a scenario was like, this is a really good idea.
I just don't
and will accomplish whatever my goal is.
I just don't like, I feel like the best case scenario, if you send a dick pic and no one has asked for one, is that the person on the other end will be like, okay. That is your best.
Yeah.
That is
right.
Top best. Worst
I can't
is like, fuck off. I never want to speak to you again, and I'm calling the police. So like, why would you take that risk of like just trying to get to that? Okay, like that. Yeah. That's your peak. Like what?
Like I just can't. I could never imagine anyone responding to that with like, I didn't know it. This is the one. This is the one. Now I get it.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just something I don't get, and I loved his reaction to it. And the reason I was asking you was it was brought up pretty consistently in the book about like, no one wanted dick pics. Don't do that. Now, if someone requests one, that's a different question. Yeah. Which again is like, oh yes, consent. That's a thing in all areas of life.
Right.
Like, let's just stay in that lane.
What usually happens is that you'll like chat with like somebody will say, "Sup, girl? And then you'll come back and be like, hi, I enjoyed reading your profile. Are you available for a date, an ice cream cone date? And then their reply will be dick pic. And you're just like, we could have gotten there, my friend. Like
that was actually on the table.
It was going good. But now I know your judgment is at a 0. Like, it's usually like just a random reply to something that you were like, no, not to that. What? Why, Dick?
I just it's confused me forever, and it will continue to confuse me forever. But I'm sorry, ladies. That sucks.
Thank you for your apology.
I wish there was something deeper to say about that, but that's fucking ridiculous. I also did love, though, how she was teaching him, because pictures are completely ridiculous. Like, I don't get how to take them. Every time I take one, somebody looks at it, it's like, come on, man. Angles are a thing. So when she was explaining that,
face.
Yes, yes.
Well, listen, listen. She later on in the book, Samson sends her a dick pic, and she's like, "That's a really good one. It's framed well. There's a hand in it.
Yes.
You want a hand. You don't want it just floating out in the world. Like there were things. She's like, the lighting is good. It's not like dark in there. You know, this is a good, nice.
It's
dick
a glamour
pic
shot
in
in dick pic. Yeah.
So I thought it was possible. That's what you're talking about.
No. What I was talking about is when she was talking about taking selfies and things like that, you got to do the correct angle and all of those things, which has been said to me a million times. So I did also enjoy that aspect of like the dating lessons or whatever she was giving him.
Also, during this conversation, they have like a cute conversation about Thriller and how Thriller would never happen today because of cell phones, and you'd never like be alone with that guy without pepper spray and stuff. And he says the line, "Do you think pepper spray would work on zombies and ghouls?" Which, like, part of me is like, that doesn't sound like a real person, but part of me is like, Samson. So cute.
You're so smitten with Samson. I feel like you're willing to sort of give him carte blanche on everything.
Well, you know how I feel about Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and no one else plays this role. So,
which I knew that was it. Like, I wanted to say, who would you cast in this role? But
there's no one else.
That would have been a waste of time.
No one else.
Yeah.
Okay. So they then are done filming their thing, and they get into, this must be a real bar in LA, right?
I don't know. I don't live in LA, but it could be. I have no idea.
So, okay. But this has got to be inspired by a real thing. Like,
with a waterbed cabanas? Has to be. Yeah.
Because it's too specific. It's like pods that you go into, the inside have a waterbed.
Yeah.
And you're unable to sit up because of the waterbed.
It sounds like the grossest place on earth, but I was so ready for some waterbed sex.
Me too.
Like some public waterbed sex.
Yes.
This is the only part of the book I was disappointed in, because I was like, you primed me.
Right.
I was ready. I had cookies. I was ready.
And then
you
got your short
and then
stack
they
ready.
just sort of just left. I was like,
yeah, well, they left because they were worried about the cleanliness of the
which was a correct instinct. Like, they're getting that right, but sometimes you gotta play through it.
Just so you know, Uncle Joe, do you know what team he played for?
Did he play for the fucking Bisons?
He played for the Bisons. Those Buffalo Bisons.
I don't want to sound terrible. I don't give a shit about Uncle Joe.
God. Fine.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Like, in the realm of the book, like, it's extremely tragic what happened to him, and I hate it. And I'm not going to get into it now because the NFL CTE settlement is one of the things that I could talk for 2 hours about and just be yelling the entire time because it's complete horseshit. But in the realm of this book, I was like, yep, Uncle Joe died tragically, and his dad really struggled from it. That's great. Let's get back to Rhiannon, please.
Wow.
Always get back to Rhi. Not enough Rhi in this book.
I found the football things kind of interesting because I don't know anything about that stuff. So I love that I was like, friends, babies, bull, and you were like, football, because it's like, I'm just trying to get back to the book. Okay. But I read all the football stuff because I was interested in it because I don't know a lot about it. I know a lot about Army TBIs, but I don't know a lot about football ones.
Yeah, well, in short, the NFL did everything they could to completely screw their players for decades, and then this settlement was the last and greatest screw job of all of it because it's $1 billion settlement, but nobody's getting any money and people are getting denied their claims. And I'm going to stop now because I will just continue to go on in perpetuity. But It is actually interesting. And it was well researched. Like she had enough of it in here that it was clearly well researched and it all made sense and it's all accurate without boring you like I've been doing for the last minute about it.
So they leave the pod and they go to the car. Car number 2.
So they leave the pod with the water bag.
Well, listen, this is not the first time we've said the words "they leave the pod," but here we're talking about humans that are having human sex with people that are not their cousins. So they go and have oral sex in the car, and isn't this where she like freaks out, right? A little bit. He goes,
I think so.
Down on her. I think so, and then she kind of freaks out and like leaves quickly, and then she goes and like hangs out with Katrina the next day. And she's like, did you have sex with him? And Rhee's like, no. And Katrina's like, well, oral sex is sex. And she's like,
yeah, I love that.
I thought that was
I also appreciated, and we skipped it a long time ago, but when she was like, I wish I hadn't been so dick drunk, that was hilarious.
Yes, dick drunk. That was outstanding.
Genius.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So the next thing that happens, I think, is that Rhiannon finds out that Peter, the dick, the emotional abuser, is taking meetings with like the CFO. What is William? He's like another executive over at Matchmaker. He doesn't
like a VP of whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't control whether they sell, but he's like the top businessman person. And he's out playing golf or whatever with
like all those dicks do.
My God, golfers. With what's
I totally agree. By the way,
with what's his toes, Peter. And then she realizes he's trying to buy Matchmaker, like, right out from under her. So she, like, goes over to Samson's house and, like, basically just fucks him hard. And then is like, talk to your aunt. Like, leaves.
This is where, like, I went from, like, Rhee to I need gear. I'm making t-shirts now because
this is where I kind of started not liking Rhee that much.
No, I was like phenomenal. Love it.
I mean, I like Rhee. I like Rhee so much more than like most of the heroines we've read. So don't get it twisted. But like, she goes over. They talk a little bit about Uncle Joe, and like they learn a little bit about each other's backgrounds. And then she's basically like, "Fuck me hard." And then so he's like, "Sure, I would love to. Thank you for the opportunity." And then she's like, okay, talk to your aunt. And he's like, yeah, I already agreed to do that. Why did you come here? And she's like, bye. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like she was like using him. I didn't like how Rhee was treating Samson.
Well, jeez. I just love, I know you guys can't see it, but like, she tilted her head and got very serious.
Samson.
Very intimate with the microphone before she said his name.
Yeah. I just felt like she's not being like totally upfront with him. I don't know.
No, and that's what I loved about it, honestly, was she's got flaws.
Yeah.
And she recognizes them and she's working through them. She's trying, but she's also never hidden what it's about. Like, she told him, we can fuck, but we're not going to be together.
That's true, and he's fine with that. Like, he doesn't feel played or whatever. I just, knowing everything that I know at this point in the book about Rhiannon that she has not shared with Samson, like,
right.
I just wish she just treated Samson a little better during this part of the book.
Well, he doesn't deserve her, and she knows that deep down.
So the next thing is like this guy Trevor, who Samson hates, who's the quarterback of the team, wants Samson to go be like a CTE spokesmodel or something because Trevor is starting to have like cauliflower brain.
The concept of a spokesmodel for CTE. He just stands there. This is CTE. This is what CTE looks like.
Is it?
Samson, take your shirt off.
Is that not?
Take your shirt off.
Is that not what it is, though? Kind of like, I'm sorry, he's going to be the face of their organization that helps
I don't think
players,
you're wrong. It was just
raises money for people that aren't getting any of the settlement. And Trevor is having some symptoms of brain problems.
Samson's family's like the poster, like his dad's case was used as the basis for the entire lawsuit and all those things. So his name carries a lot of weight, and particularly the way he left the game.
So he was called
why they want to use him.
The Lima Charm, because when his dad brought him to the football games, they won the football games, and he's like the third one, the third Lima, and then like when he walked off the football field at halftime because somebody was going to make a guy with a concussion play, and we know what happens when you make Billy Bob play, even though he got a concussion.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I was not going to bring up Varsity, but I promise.
Bullshit. Your whole life is Varsity Blues. All you do is you think about Varsity Blues at least once a day.
Oh, easily.
Bullshit.
Are you kidding me? Of course I do.
As soon as I get to this part, I was like, we're going to have to do an hour on Billy Bob.
No, I was going to be professional.
How Coach made him play.
I was going to be professional. I was not going to bring it up because this is your show.
Yeah, this is my show. I brought it up.
You brought it up and you fucked up. You done fucked up. Because here we go. So... So the instant that this happened, I was like, Billy Bob made the pros? Like that was my first response.
I was like, Coach.
I was like, how did he get there? He was 600 pounds in high school. He had like 9 concussions, and he made it to the pros.
And he died, and he made it to the pros. How?
Like, what happened? I was so happy.
Yeah.
I was so proud of him.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, and then he had to play for another fucking Kilmer. It all became a whole thing.
That's the thing. I don't think that Billy Bob made it to the pros. I think John Voight is coaching this team, unfortunately. I think that he made it to the pros. Because I don't know if you noticed. So
you think the end of the movie
Billy Bob died.
He never coached football again, and Voight's like, oh, hell yeah, I did. I got promoted.
Yeah. I never coached high school football again.
There were a lot of pro teams that were like, hey, we saw you almost killed that high school kid. We liked the dedication.
We liked it. Come to the pros.
Because you know what he should have been doing? He should have been sitting in the nurse's office, rest and relax, take advantage, get a 3 o'clock practice. Yeah. That's what he needed to be doing. And now we're going to pay you $6.4 million a year to maybe kill some adults. It'll be great.
Congratulations. But James Vanderbeek Samson is not about this.
That's a good cast. That's a good casting choice.
Bullshit.
Not really.
He's Samoan.
Not really.
So that would be the worst. Put like some like Samoan tattoos like on like his a James Vanderbeek. Oh God. That would be the worst.
I'm seeing a very C. Thomas Howell.
Oh God! I read a whole book. I forget what book it was, but they said that he had like tribal tattoos over like half of his chest and down his arms. So I assumed that the guy, the book said that he was like had Samoan tattoos or Maori or some sort of. And it turned out he was a white guy the whole book, and I read him as Melody had to like inform me.
How do you not read that?
And be like,
as the Rock?
That character's white. And I was like, what? I hate that. Anyway. What? Oh, that was the Susan Elizabeth Phillip book. Anyway, what were we talking about? Billy Bob. John Voight. Oh,
we were talking about Billy Bob. You were talking about Billy Bob.
He stormed off in the middle of the game, which is called halftime in football. And he did not come back to football ever again. And so this quarterback was real mad and changed his name, called him the Lima Curse, which is very smart choice of like just witty.
I thought Samson's response to this, and I get that there's other emotional attachments to it, but I was like, you're really that hurt by that?
Yeah, he hates it.
It felt very thin-skinned, where I would have just been like, yeah, fuck off, like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, his dad gave him the Lima Charm name.
I know.
And then when they're at the waterbed bar, somebody's like, hey man, Samson Lima Curse. And he's like, the fuck you say to me? Out of nowhere.
He lost his fucking mind.
It's kind of like, have you seen that video of the lead singer of Sugar Ray out at a bar and somebody shouts Sugar Gay at him and he loses his fucking mind? It's hilarious. Oh, you're gonna watch it right now? Yeah, so
I'm gonna search it so I don't forget.
I don't know this man's name. Like Mark? I don't know his name. The lead singer of Sugar Ray.
It's funny.
But
what is his name?
He's just like in a crowd.
Damn it.
and somebody's like, hey man, sugar gay. And
Mark McGrath.
Yes. Which is not appropriate. I don't want to be on the side of the guy who thought sugar gay was a funny thing to yell at anybody as an insult. But Mark McGrath loses his fucking mind and tries to murder the guy. Yeah, Cole's watching it now.
No, he's like a 15-year-old.
Yeah. And Mark McGrath literally tries to murder this kid.
Oh my god. Please just YouTube Mark McGrath flips out on teen.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yep.
And then signs an autograph afterwards.
Yes.
Like, after the flip out is signing autographs.
And if you had the audio, you would hear him just yelling, who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that? Who the fuck said that? It's great. But yeah, Samson has a very similar reaction to somebody saying, hey man, leave a curse. He's like,
loses his shit.
Yeah. He doesn't actually beat anyone up or anything. He just kind of like steps up to him and is like, hey, apologize to me. So if anyone is like, does not like that kind of thing, he doesn't do anything like that. He's not an aggro guy. He just does not like it. Okay, Trevor. So he doesn't want to be the head of his organization. He hates Trevor. Fuck Trevor. Okay. So I think the next big thing that happens is she gets invited to go to...
we want to...
What?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We probably want to talk about how Samson actually talks to Annabelle and says, this is what's happening. Like, Rhiannon wants to buy this. And she goes, yeah, William's been talking to me and all that stuff.
Yeah. So there's several interested buyers, it turns out. So she decides, because she's an eccentric old lady, to have like a dinner
very
party.
Miss Havisham.
Yeah, like a dinner weekend at her lavish mansion. In the where was the nice place? Where's the Cayucas? You're not going to know how to say that word when you read this book until Cole tells you. So they go up to Cayucas and do like a weekend impress me thing.
Well, and Samson had gone to his aunt and been like, Ree wants to buy the business, and the Annabelle had said, well, William's telling me that I should probably sell, and Samson's very protective of Belle, which I really like. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't give a shit what William says. Mm-hmm. Like, you own the company. This. He doesn't. Okay? Yeah. So it's your call, not his. And she is a very, like you said, out there lady. And so she sends invites to like 4 prospective buyers. And she decides to send a very interesting and very glittery invitation to the Crush office.
Right.
Which I think it was did the guy jump out of the cake and then they also had a cake?
Yes, there was a cake. So there was a cake that had a man in it that he jumped out. And then just so no one would be disappointed that it was a fake cake, he also had a cake in there with him that he then presented them with. And then somebody said, I'm not eating some cake that's in there with like a sweaty guy for God knows how long. And Rhiannon's like, cake is cake. You need to shut the fuck up. I'm eating that cake.
And she's right.
She is right.
This is another reason that I feel like Alisha Rye doesn't know me but knows me, because I would have been absolutely like, I mean, it's cake.
Yeah. Like, more cake for me, cake. The CEO. Shut the fuck up. Like, the cake wasn't even for you. This is an invitation for me, Ree. And I get my cake. The end.
I do love that she gets covered in glitter, and Tina comes in and is like, I'm so sorry. And there's immediate electricity between Lakshmi and Tina, which Tina's Belle's assistant. Right. And so we're definitely going to get that story.
I hope so, at least in novella.
Can I just say glitter's the worst thing that's ever existed?
Oh, God. I hate glitter.
I hate it so much. Yeah. It was... I remember getting a thank you card in law school from somebody who was in one of my lawyering skills classes. And I opened it, and it was packed with glitter. And it like everywhere. I'm like, what 6-year-old is in law school right now?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than going home. I mean, Jess is cool, and she knew what was going on, but I was like, I'm covered in glitter because someone gave me a card.
Yes.
I have glitter everywhere. And she was like, absolutely knew who the student was. She's like, that idiot. I'm like, yep, 100%.
Okay. Then they go to the thing. She I know what I wanted to say.
No. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I don't think it's what you wanted to
Aaron
say.
in the front row.
Yes, thank you.
Aaron in the front row.
I was raising my hand. what's her face? Lakshmi says, "Oh, I know what this is," and then Rhiannon's like, "She's Willy Wonkaing me," and then they're like, "We're gonna Charlie Bucket this motherfucker."
That was my favorite line
so
in the whole. I loved it. That was my favorite line in the whole book.
Yeah,
but then Samson's like, "Hey, did you get the invitation? Whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to see you. I've got to really like get into this presentation." And he starts like sending her food. Mm-hmm. He's like, "I want to do something to help you." He sends food.
There's a whole chapter of
massages.
Just text between the two of them.
Great chapter. And really good chapter.
That's when you get the dick pic in that situation. They send a bunch of photos of each other back and forth. It's very cute. He sends all kinds of a taco truck, all kinds of stuff.
Yes. And then he's like, "I don't know what kind of food you want. What's your favorite food?" She's like, "Thai, cool. Let's send some Thai food." Mm-hmm. And I do remember, we skipped it, but the reason that she left his apartment so quick was she accidentally put her hand in his pants, and there was that phone number from the waitress that he had never really talked to.
Right, like some waitress, like when he was out with Dean and Harris. There you go. I was close.
And Dean's obsessed with this kid, which is great and wonderful. But I was like,
Alisha,
we don't need to talk about baby poop.
I love your writing. I love your books. I may skip that one because I do not care about Miley the baby. Okay.
I'll read it.
Yeah, I know you will. But you also do not care about Miley the baby, right? Like, right?
No.
Fair. Okay. So now they arrive at the Willy Wonka house, and it's her. I think we can fast forward most of this, but it's like her, Peter the Dick, a guy named Chris, who is like an older gentleman who owns some like matchmaking dating apps worldwide,
like international.
Yeah. And he's a nice man, and he had tried to hire Rhiannon off of Swipe. And he was like the only one who gave her a chance. And then a guy named Martin, who he's like the who's the like German kid who eats the chocolate and falls into the thing immediately.
I don't know that kid.
That kid.
He's that kid.
Schmergel.
Yep, that I remember that.
Yep. Yeah, he eats the chocolate and goes right. Have you never seen Willy Wonka?
I have. I just don't recall the name.
Okay, I just thought
of the
maybe
child.
I had stumbled onto like some really.
Oh no, I've seen Willy Wonka. I could talk about Grandpa Joe forever.
Okay.
That lazy.
Okay.
Lazy man.
You could walk the whole time.
I can't get out of bed. Oh, chocolate? I can legs are feeling strong today.
I've been there. I've been there.
I could actually. Do you want to skip? We can skip.
Yeah, dance. Fly.
I'm so rested.
At some point.
I'm so rested. Yep. I'm excited.
Yes.
So yes, I've seen Willy Wonka.
Okay. So anyway, that guy like drops out immediately. Is like this shit is stupid. Like I'm not doing this stuff. And like leaves.
Right.
After okay, so then like the first night, what's his face? The Dick comes to her room. And
that was out of nowhere. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Anytime there's like a bad ex-boyfriend in a romance novel, he's going to show up at about the 75% mark. That's a rule of thumb.
Gotcha.
It's like a Chekhov's ex-boyfriend. He's going to show up, and new boyfriend's going to kind of like resolve the situation.
Take care of business.
Yeah.
Right.
But he's just like, I don't even remember what's exactly said, but he is intimidating and abusive.
Her. Yeah, he's threatening her and all that stuff.
He's just like a total asshole. And she gets her phone for long enough to text Samson to be like, just come to my room, knock on the door. No matter what you hear, just barge in, please, so you can help me handle the situation. And he does. And then when they go to do their pitches, the guy, William, who's the like CFO of the company or the VP or whatever, asks her all these questions that are like, oh, you were sleeping with your boss at Swipe, and you were this and you were that, and now you're with Samson, who is the close personal friend of Annabelle, and don't think that that's gonna like make you get job. So obviously,
that was verbatim.
I do this and people listen to it. It's insane.
No, it's because you're excellent at it. It's not insane.
Yeah. So William and Peter are like friends and they're like bros together or whatever, and they suck.
Right. Yeah.
And Peter has told William all the like lies about Rhiannon, which sucks. And then the old guy drops out because he wants to date Annabelle.
He just wants to fire on Belle. I was so pumped for that. I want that book.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100% we're getting that book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have to.
So,
if we don't get that full book, there has to be like, they have to be part of a community book. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
But I need that romance in my life.
Samson gave Rhiannon the advice to speak from the heart and not have a PowerPoint or anything. And so that's what she ends up doing. She goes off script. She speaks from the heart. She tells them all about her background and why she wants to buy Matchmaker and stuff. And then William kind of like intimidates her, like I said. And then after that, Belle makes an announcement in the Rose Garden.
It's a rose ceremony.
That she's not impressed with Peter and that Rhee has won. And so Rhee follows her back to her office and she gives her the number that Peter gave her, which is much higher, and says, this is my counteroffer.
Like higher than it's worth.
Yeah, much higher.
It's just not even...
And Rhiannon realizes that Peter was willing to go to like extremely unreasonable lengths to beat her and buy this company, like out of spite.
Right.
Like he had to ensure that he was going to win to the tune of like millions of dollars. And also he promised her 100% employee retention. And that's not something Rhiannon is situated to do. She can't keep 100% of Matchmaker's employees.
Well, and one thing that I really liked about her was that, you know, she wanted to win. Like, one of the things that was a through line was, I can't lose to this guy. I can't lose this. I have to buy this. I have to buy it. I have to buy it. And when brass tacks came down, she was like, oh, I can't do it at that.
Yeah.
If that's what you want and that's what you need, I can't do that.
Right.
And so she wasn't willing to sacrifice, like, the obvious aptitude she has for business in order to just win or whatever. And that's another aspect of her I really liked.
And then also, she's smart enough to realize that Belle has turned down like a much better offer. And she realizes that, we forgot to say, last night in the room, Samson said, I'm going to go tell Belle what this guy is. And she told him that he can't tell her because she needs to win on her own merits. Like, he can't just go be like, this guy's a creep, don't choose him. She wants to actually win, and it's her story to tell, and she doesn't want him to do it. So then she basically gets it out of Belle that she didn't choose him because of him being a creep and, like, creeping on ladies, and assumes that Samson told Belle... God, there's so many names.
I know, it's really hard.
What happened between Rhee and Peter, and that's why. And so now she's pissed at Samson. But what it turns out...
I had to write them all down.
I know. So what it turns out to be is that she had, like, heard some murmurings of, like, he treats women badly. So Annabelle had reached out to, like, women that used to work with him at Swipe and, like, found out some stories. And some of them told her about Rhee and what happened there. So Samson didn't tell her, but she did find out with her own digging. So
yeah, we had that last hurdle. Now we got it clear, because I was when this was going on, I was like, oh, we're wrapping it up. Everything's gonna be fine. Whatever, we're good. And then it was like, oh fuck,
yeah,
come on.
Oh, I wasn't there yet. I like the last big fight. I like the last big fight. Then they gotta fight each other and stuff. But where I was
I love the last big fight. I just thought
was when we were at the engagement party and we got to resolve things with the mom and Gabe, and like I'm just like, come on, guys. I don't give a shit about Trevor and the CTE organization.
I know, right?
I care about Rhiannon and mostly Samson.
What I love is I feel like both of us are like, you both can do better.
No, Samson. He's so...
Rhee could do better than Samson.
Such a hugger. No, come on.
I get it. I'm just,
you know
I'm here for my girl. I want her to have the best.
I feel about a lovable oaf. I love an oaf.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Anyways, so they both go, they get in a big fight. She doesn't allow him to explain himself. She just, like, leaves. She's betrayed. She's got trust issues, you know. He goes and does his footballs with Trevor and his concussions and decides to be part of the football thing. And she goes to the engagement party and, like, talks to her mom. There's, like, another girl there and, like, talks to her. That stuff happens. But then, you guys, they get back together. And
they do.
it's the end. It's perfect.
It is.
They get back together. They fuck
weird.
before they talk, which is nice. I like that.
And again, Team Ree.
She does good.
Get yours, clear the head. And I love, like, she says that like 3 times. She's like, I just need to clear my head.
Yeah.
Like, that's just.
He keeps trying to stop it, and he's like out of breath. He's like, we have to talk before we do this sex time. And she's like, no, we'll talk later. Like, I need to do this
there's
first.
plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, have you seen you? I need to do this first. Anyway.
See, it's very funny because in my head, I'm thinking she's going, look at me. You're welcome. Just do it.
Look at me. You're welcome. And there's this whole thing about sweatshirts, and like the end is like he's going to be her sweatshirt for her. It's very cute.
There's a lot of cute stuff. It's hard because a lot happens, but I felt like it was a really quick book.
Yeah, it was.
Like there's not like it goes very fast. There's not a ton of sex, but because it's woven through it so well that I got all I needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can always use more, but I got, everything I needed out of it. And I really hope now, this is an ignorant question, but will there be another Rhiannon book?
No. Mm-mm. No.
Or this will be it. This is
once a couple
so keep
is
this
done,
one.
they're done. So yeah, hang on to that one.
Gotcha.
He's held up the paperback of The Right Swipe, and now I'm realizing that Cole's Team Ree shirt is also color coded to the book.
Of course it is. Are you kidding? Yeah, it was very weird because everywhere was sold out of yellow fabric spray paint.
You purchased it. You purchased yellow fabric spray paint. Wow.
Well,
I thought maybe you just.
I didn't have it laying around.
In my mind, you were having you had like a project that you were already doing with stencils and spray paint, and you were like, you know what I'm gonna do? Wow.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And Cole's not coming back. Cole's not invited back. He's made it weird.
Well, I just want to keep making you read romance novels because I think you like them more than you know, but have only read 2. So I want to keep forcing you to do this.
I very much...
Yeah, I'm going to make you read another one soon.
I earnestly enjoyed the book. Like, it was a very good book. Oh, can it be out of her Bedroom Games series? I think I'm going to check that one out.
Yeah, go for it. The grocery store series is very good. I read the first 2. I haven't read the third one, which is the one that Gabe comes from. So
you don't need to worry about Gabe. Gabe bothered me.
Really? You didn't like Gabe?
Well, because he was the favorite of the mom, and I'm like, but Ree's right there. Yeah. Like, why would you?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't quite understand.
Yeah.
But just because he calls you back? Come on.
Fair. Cole. Do you have a lady love?
You know I do. I have... Hold on, let me get them. I don't want to mess them up here. Okay, I have 3. I have 3 lady loves. All right. Number 1, I'm actually a little upset with you, Melody, but don't get mad, because you did an awesome thing that I was going to do, but you did it before me, is I was driving around and I needed, like, a playlist, and I just hit an I Miss the 90s playlist on Amazon, and... it had bands on it like Sublime and Blind Melon and the Spin Doctors and the Verve Pipe, and it blew my mind. And it was instantly taken back to like 96, and it was a very weird drive for me. Now, I do have a problem with a 90s playlist that doesn't have like any R&B on it or rap. Well, there was no Boyz II Men.
Specifically talking about Boyz II Men. Cole, you guys, is a Boyz II Men super fan.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there is like a bomb 90s R&B playlist on Spotify.
Yeah, no, I've listened to that one.
Yeah.
I've listened. This was just a totally random, like, oh, cool, I'll play that. And there were a lot of like songs I literally haven't heard since like some random homecoming in the 90s. But this one didn't have any Boyz II Men, no Whitney, no Mariah,
That's
no
weird.
SWV, none of it, no rap. But there's some really funny songs on it. But the love is go listen to music that takes you back to like a, nice nostalgic time. It was very bizarre but cathartic and interesting, and I loved it. I do have a food lady love.
Okay.
Which is, if you can find it, just straight murder one of those new Popeye's chicken sandwiches. Holy shit. Just get all over that,
okay,
all right?
all right.
It is so good. It's bigger than the Chick-fil-A one. It's crispier. It's not cooked in like hatred and gay bashing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very good. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So find that. And then my last one, if you're into movies, because I've had a chance to do this over the last couple of months, pick like a classic film you really like and go see it on the big screen. It's awesome. I saw Breakfast at Tiffany's on the big screen, Dr. Strangelove, Jackie Brown. Go see it in a theater, see it with a group of people. It's awesome.
You know,
so,
Andy and I, when
loves.
we were in DC, we went out and saw Top Gun in 3D.
Oh, wow.
That unibrow. It was also IMAX. It was IMAX 3D Top Gun. That Tom Cruise
They'll do
unibrow,
anything to make Tom Cruise tall.
That unibrow can fly under the radar on a regular screen. If you're just watching TBS and Top Gun comes on, you forget about that brow. But man, in an IMAX 3D, is that prominent?
Strong?
Yes. It was like no one could stop talking about it. Like the whole theater was like, "Oh God, it's back!" Like it was.
I just like the idea that it was 3D, so it's obviously coming at you as well, just a little bit.
But there's also other stuff coming at you that you forgot about, like volleyballs are coming at you.
How about the weirdest tongue kiss ever?
Don't hate on it.
No, I don't. That's like the first sex scene I remember in my life.
Me too. Me too.
Like, I kind of like thought like that's what it's going to be one day. Yes, this is what's going to happen.
I have a very vivid memory of watching Top Gun and being like, this is what it is. Like now I know this is sex.
Like I have to hover over her and like just stick my tongue out. This is what
lower my
This
tongue
is what kissing is. Yeah, this is what it is.
Yeah. It's like that Kristen Callahan book we read that was like a kiss that was just tongues, and we were into it because the writing was so good, but then like afterwards we were like, just tongues though? Like no lips involved.
Practically.
I don't know, and one of you is wearing a masquerade mask. I don't know that this would work in real life. No. Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. Those are three great lady loves. I didn't bring one. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at my Teddy Grahams that I was eating before we started recording.
That was rude of you to eat those because they looked awesome and I don't have any.
You can have some if you want. Just come up here. I made for our second annual pig roast Dunkaroo dip. And I saw that one of you, and I think it was Cat C, recently made Dunkaroo dip. I saw on your Instagram. Listen, Dunkaroo dip is the best. It calls back to Dunkaroos of our childhood. It's just Cool Whip.
Sounds awesome.
Funfetti cake mix and yogurt. And you've got like the best dessert dip you've ever had. And it doesn't taste like straight frosting. And honestly, it's pretty unhealthy because it has a full box of Funfetti cake mix in it. But is it more healthy than just dipping your Teddy Grahams in frosting? Yes, because it is a yogurt-based snack. So if you think about it that way, that it's mostly sugar, but like also a probiotic, to help move that sugar through
Teddy
your body.
Grahams.
Yeah.
The Teddy Grahams are the savory that, straightens out.
Yeah, you're gonna want a honey-based Teddy Graham or a Nilla wafer or my personal favorite, ginger snap, in order to
nice
to balance out, because the spiciness of the ginger snap balances out the Dunkaroo dip. You're not going to want anything sweeter than that. Like you're gonna see the Teddy Grahams that have like sprinkles in them and like chocolates in them, and you're gonna see the chocolate chip cookies, and you're gonna be like, "That's bomb! No one's thought of anything this great ever before." But it's too much. Trust me.
See, I'm thinking of the icing covered animal crackers.
No, it's too much. It's too much. You're flying too close to the sun. No,
I'll let you know how it goes.
It's gonna kill you. Because I already had, you saw me, I had like a stomach ache after I ate 30 to 40 Teddy Grahams dipped in Cool Whip. So, anyway. All right. Is that it?
All right.
What's our sign
thank
off?
you again for letting me be on here. And thank you, Melody, for letting me sit in. And this was awesome, as usual. Keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as Cole loves Rhiannon Hunter, which is...
Yes.
Enough.
It's a lot.
To make a t-shirt to wear for an audio podcast. That's a lot. Right. See ya.
All right.
Bye.
Later, guys.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.